Hey everybody, JP here once again. And I'm not sure why I didn't think to do this in our last day of Jerden guitar video, where we went over the 3 pairs of tracks and compared tracking them individually with 6 performances versus just 2 performances reamped 6 times. But somebody commented that they'd love to be able to do this with just 2 DI tracks and plugins. And I thought, yeah, well, there's a million great amp sims out there, so let's play with them. And also, we got some new information thanks to some wonderful comments on that initial video. And I have to give a shout out to a couple of guys who contributed some really great information. There's nothing I love more than learning more after making one of these videos. And I just think that's the coolest thing. One fellow was a guy named Brian, was an engineer. I think he said he was a guitar tech that worked with Dave Jerden later on in the 90s after Alice in Chains Dirt. And he contributed some really great information about his time working with Dave. And also someone else who mentioned, I think both of those guys mentioned, for the high sound, it wasn't a Rockman direct, as I thought. It was a Rockman through a Marshall Lead 12 solid state amp, mic'd up. So with that information, we were able to do some different things here, and I'm really excited to play it for you. So first, I just want to show you the amps that I chose. So it's the same pair of DI tracks that we reamped through my amplifiers in the last video. What we did here was I sent them, these are all stereo auxes. So I'm sending the DIs to these 3 stereo aux tracks. And for the main sound, the closest I could come to Jerry Cantrell's Fish was this Nembrini Audio Bogner Ecstasy sim, which sounds fantastic. If you're familiar with the Bogners, the preamp section of the Ecstasy is based on the Fish. In fact, I think it's been a while since I looked at the schematics, but I think they're virtually the same preamps. Difference being that the Ecstasy has a fantastic 100-watt output amp built into it with some great functions. Was able to dial in a really good Jerry sound on that, we'll listen to in a second. For the lows, I used this Brainworx mega single rectifier, which is free, actually. Go to Plugin Alliance, download it. I don't know that it's the best rectifier if that's going to be your main sound, but for a supportive role, it's fantastic and it's free. And then the highs, this is where it gets really cool. So I'm using this Overloud Rockman with basically maximum gain and a little bit of chorus, actually, because what's a Rockman without chorus, right? But then this is another free plugin here, Audiority Lead 12X. And when I stumbled upon this, I couldn't believe that somebody had a free version of this kind of obscure amp that was really like a practice amp in the 80s. So this combination, it was really eye-opening to me once I tried this, because it gave me a different perspective on how Dave Jerden and Jerry Cantrell went about stacking those sounds. And I think if I was to redo my guitar parts from the old video, I would actually have a better perspective of what to aim for now, having gone through this with plugins. So why don't we give that a listen? That's our Bogner. I'm on channel 2. It's even with my glasses on, it's actually tough to see some of these settings. But yeah, I've got the gain at about, 130 or so. A lot of mid-range. There's even, that's that Bogner mid-range that no one else quite does the same way. And that's that Jerry Cantrell sound. I tried channel 3. Little too fizzy for rhythms, I think. Just for comparison to the Pasadena Rose. So you can hear how I really modeled the mid-range of the Pasadena Rose after more traditional Marshalls. Whereas Bogner does that low-mid thing, that really unique Bogner low-mid. And also after, again, comparing this, I probably could have dialed in the Pasadena Rose a little closer. but I didn't have this for comparison at the time. But I gotta say, this Nembrini is a fantastic Bogner simulator. Really happy with that one. And otherwise, I'm doing same stuff to it that we've done to all the guitars. Summit compressor and the SSL for the filters. And that's it. And I'm doing the exact same thing to all the guitars. Same things in terms of signal path. The frequencies of the filters, of course, are different, with each one suited to its own range. So let's listen to, this is the Rectifier lows. I'm on modern gain for this. Vintage was a little too loose for this sound. Very similar settings to the Metatron amp. Let's compare it to the Metatron. Try to level match them a little. The Metatron definitely cuts a bit more, but the lows of the Rectifier are tough to mess with. Again, comparatively, probably could have dialed in the Metatron to get a little closer. Just so you know, guys, I'm using the master faders for each guitar to do the switching here. So we've got the original guitar bus, the reamp bus, and the DI bus. And so far, I've just been switching between the reamp bus and the DI bus. And they're all going to a guitar master that has our whole chain on it here. Back to the DR. And now my favorite part of this is what we're doing with the highs here. Rockman, let me not solo, but that's the Rockman by itself. So this would be like the Rockman Direct. And could have boosted it a little more if that was the sound we were gonna go for. But putting it through this lead 12 is super cool. And just the lead 12 by itself. Just a little break up there. It's actually kind of a cool sound. I could see that being really useful for some things. The cab sim on here was key. And they did mic up the speaker with a 57. That was the story. I got the contour right around the frequency range I wanted to emphasize. Same with the mid-range. Just enough body there. Actually sounds pretty cool with the boost. You know what? Let's just listen to it in context with the boost. It may be a bit much. I might leave it on. Kind of like that. Or is it too much? Actually, yeah, I think I like that a little better. So the gain's a little higher now, but I have the boost off. I'm just messing around, man. That's what it's all about. If you're not having fun with this, you're doing something wrong. Now let's compare it to my old high tracks. Again, something I probably could have dialed in closer. When I go back to the old tracks now, I feel like I was kind of shooting in the dark for a lot of stuff. And now I have a much better perspective on what they might have actually been going for. That works really well with the Bogner. And then a Rectifier. That's the reamp bus. That's the plug-in bus. That's it. And now the OG bus. Plug-in bus. Reamp bus. Back to plugins. Back to OG 6 tracks. Reamp. Oh, my mix might be a little off there. Yeah. Plug-in bus. I still think OG is my favorite, but I might have got closer to Jerry's actual tone with the plugins. Yeah, I still think the OG 6-track bus is my favorite, despite some of the tuning issues in there. But I think with the plugins, I got a little closer to Jerry's tone. And then the Bogner has a lot to do with that. The Bogner is just such a signature sound of Jerry Cantrell that it's kind of tough to nail that with really anything else out there. Reinhold has a unique way of tuning his mid-range to get that thickness without losing top. And it's really cool. Really, he's the only guy that does it that way. I think some other companies have come close, but that's really his signature throughout most of his lineup. So yeah, I hope you guys dig this. And again, a couple of these plugins are free. You know, the Mega Single and the L12X by Audiority. Those are 2 free plugins. Yeah, the Nembrini Bogner Ecstasy. Again, as you can see, I'm just using a trial of it for this, but I think I might be adding this to the collection soon because it's incredibly useful and pretty different than any of the other plugins or real amps that I have. This combination of the Rockman through the Lead 12, again, I thank the guys who commented and shared that. I was unaware of that, and man, they really work well together. And I am curious if Jerry Cantrell used the chorus from the Rockman or not, but it's pretty subtle. Once you run this into the other amp, the chorus is not as obvious. The Rockman Direct, the chorus is way more obvious on. So good stuff all around. All right, so please like, comment, subscribe. I'll be back with more great stuff in the future, as always. Thanks a lot, guys.